Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Captain America Symbol of Truth Issue 4. Very nice cover. However, I did not enjoy this as much as I would have liked. Again, Joaquin's part seems to be the strongest, and Sam's just is really kind of weird. Now, I don't know exactly what is going on with T'Challa, but the part at the end was just really kind of strange. Well, we'll get to it. How about that? So, we see that they're evidently nearing the final act, the end game. As in the Sonoran Desert, we see that Joaquin is captured, and we see that White Wolf is talking with Crossbones, as Sam is then in Burnin Zana, the Golden City, Wakanda, as he's contemplating people being like, hey, they're coming in. They look free from hate, free from fear. And this is what he's trying to protect, even if Shuri thinks otherwise. He's trying to make sure that nothing kind of goes amiss. However, he does get cut out and taken by some guards. And, of course, it's Crossbones. And it's just mainly for a welcome party. We then see that Joaquin's tied up, like we'd seen previously, and that he's pretty much having kind of like a flashback to when he was a little kid. But then he like smells burning, and things start going nutty. It's like people telling him to get back into their cells. As then we have pretty much a pretty good action scene of stuff going on with Joaquin, pretty much kicking ass and everything. And then people are like, "We're gonna help you. We got the keys." Then they're pretty much just trying to get out of there as much as possible as the rest of the guards in the compound start coming at him. But then Joaquin kind of goes on the attack. Let's see here. Then we pretty much get a lot of talking before we get to not a lot of talking, but we pretty much have Crossbones expositing and info dumping as he's talking about like, oh yeah, we really got you and Falcon. Breadcrumbs led straight here, talking about the White Wolf. And then Sam's like, who the fuck is that? And it's like, oh, you didn't know T'Challa had a brother? They're practically twins. Captain America found dead while triggering a biological terrorist attack on Wakanda. Guy's a genius. And, like, Sam was like, literally, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And it's like, yeah, you think I'm gonna, like, do this with an amateur villain speech that you are exactly in the middle of? But Thor, he's like, I'm going to beat you to a pulp, and I'm going to dose you with a bit of our medicine, turn you into a nice little bioweapon, and break the rest of your bones. And Sam's just like, you just can't shut up. And it's very kind of strange. Like, I like the Joaquin parts better, and it's just almost like there's this kind of unfocusedness that goes on with the Sam parts. And I'm like, I don't I like Sam and Joaquin, and I like Sam's character. I'm just like, it's just a really kind of weird spot because we see that he's helping out. These people are trying to escape and everything, and he has an idea, tells him to stay low as he kind of like does an explosion thing. The rest of them are like, "That was your idea," and like, coast is clear. Quick, move outside. And someone's like, "Thank God you're safe, young man." And it's like, oh, okay, how do you know him? And one of them pretty much is like, hey, listen, since you got captured, they took off enough guards for us to pretty much do our escape plan and everything. And the other person who pretty much hugged Joaquin is like, oh, you're acting like you're the last action hero. Say thank you. It's like, oh yeah, okay. As we then see that like Crossbones is talking about how Sam is like punched above his weight and everything like that, and he just keeps trying to like take his ass out, and he pretty much is grappling him before Sam is able to utilize his, of course, telekinetic abilities with birds to pretty much put him into a position like, yeah, fuck you guys. And then he pretty much has gotten Crossbones in the place. He's like, yeah, we were going to trigger a mass casualty event in Wakanda and blame it on you. And of course, he's like, how? Virus, biological weapon, White Wolf cooked it up. Something could go live in the bloodstream. When it's triggered, it eat you alive and then go airborne. People that got like their visas, they were infected during their medical checkups. They're all carriers, and the trigger is vibranium. As we see that like Louisa had the vibranium and is essentially dying now because of that. And then we see a giant kind of like explosion thing happens. Like, what the hell? And then we see that T'Challa's like, Wakanda does not take kindly to spies. Sam Wilson, it seems my sister's warning was not strong enough. Perhaps the Black Panther will be more persuasive. And I'm like, you've literally just heard that there's a terrorist attack that is happening. That, granted, they pretty much stood in the middle of a fucking forest and kind of fucking said it themselves. I'm like, is it like I thought that like T'Challa was doing some other kind of shit and had to like wasn't really king at this point. Now, granted, I don't know what the fuck's going on because sometimes things happen in other books that aren't going on when they're like utilized in other books. So it's always kind of wonky like that. But I'm like, why the fuck are you just? I mean, granted, Sam's thing of like doing this was kind of shitty, but it was the only way to like get in and figure out kind of what was going on. However, they fucking said what was going on. It's like, oh, I'm gonna have to teach you about this. I'm like, don't you want to stop the people from dying because your country's vibranium central and everybody's gonna go bleh, and then everybody's gonna go bleh. You know what I mean? Like that is the more important issue, not like we're like getting heroes fighting heroes. I don't know. It's just Sam's is not up to the level. Sam's portion of this story is not up to the level that I usually have it at. And I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but when you're reading it, you're just like, okay, yeah. Joaquin somehow is getting better kind of handling of this situation than Sam is. Sam just feels completely out of his element, which is really kind of weird because this would be his kind of element to do these kind of things as Captain America. It's just very strange for me. It's not like I love seeing Sam as Captain America. It's just I'm thinking this could be better done for him because this whole thing was just Crossbones literally said everything. And then they kind of had a little tussle. Sam utilized his abilities that he has and then got him to spill the rest of it. And T'Challa, if he was anywhere within the vicinity with any kind of tech from Wakanda whatsoever, i.e. his suit, would have been able to pick up that, oh, that asshole there just said everything. Maybe I should just capture him and the rest of his cadre and have Sam help me figure out how to stop a Wakandan death thing that's going to be happening instead of fighting each other. Now, granted, this could just be a ruse and it could just be pretty much like that they do that. I'm just like, alright, I get Wakanda trying to handle Wakandan things. However, this is a Wakandan thing and they need fucking help from Sam to make sure that this shit doesn't go down. Like, if I'm going to try and help my country and make sure that there's no mass biological terrorist attack that's going to go on, I am not going to turn down help unless it's like, hey, dude, I'm the dude that fucking did this shit, and I would like to help you, and they're like, you can't assess the genuineness of that. They could be, if they're like, listen, I don't want this on my conscience, I don't want that to go down, sure, that's cool. But if they're like, yeah, I'm kind of this weird dude that's going to just fucking help you out, that's a kind of different matter where you're like, I don't know what your motivations are, asshole. Fuck us, villain. It's just really weird how it's structured, and like, Joaquin's just works better for me for some reason because he's like putting things together. He's able to kind of like do shit on his own, and I just don't get that same thing from Sam, even though Sam should be. It's very kind of strange. I want this to succeed, but it's just like feeling off for me. Each kind of issue that we kind of go on, like how Doom was handled was just kind of like, what? Now we got T'Challa pretty much being like, I'm gonna beat your ass, Sam. It's like, oh, okay. Bigger issues, my friend. But that's how we got it. So we'll kind of see where this kind of goes. I don't know. We'll see how the story progresses going forward. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.